It's Movie Day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. If you are new here, welcome. Papa Squad, take a seat. You are welcome here. Yes. And if you're returning, welcome back. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends that they also need to be watching and listening to Seated, okay? On the docket today, we are talking about The Testament of Anne Lee, starring one Amanda Seyfried.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And today we have a bit of a packed show because, as you all may know at home, the Academy finally dropped that 2026 Oscars nomination list. And of course, we have thoughts.
Why, yes, we do.
But to spare repeating a lot of the discourse that's been happening over the past week, I'm sure you have already seen a lot of the thoughts that we also share. We're just going to go over a rundown of our thoughts on the Best Picture nominees and just some top-line thoughts of a lot of the highlights coming out of this nominations list.
Yes.
So, Tre'vell, I'm going to put things in your hand and let you run the show and tell the people who got nominated for Best Picture this year.
Okay, so let's just go in alphabetical order. That's probably the easiest for this. And so, Bugonia or Bugonia. Why you stop it? Or I should have said Bugonia. Because it's like bug on ya. Anyway, this is Yorgos Lanthimos' film with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. You know, it's very tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist oriented. Emma plays this big time CEO who gets snatched up by the conspiracy theorist who thinks she's an alien. We did an episode on Bugonia.
Yeah. And like Tre'vell said, Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos are teaming up again. And I look at them as like basically the twisted emo version of like Scorsese and De Niro, because they keep doing these high concept, weird movies. And again, it has got them Oscar nominated.
But yeah, I this one was I don't want to say this was a surprise for me per se, but it definitely... Especially because there's 10, right? There's, or at least over the last few years, the category has expanded to almost consistently being 10 films in consideration. So I guess maybe it slides in there as like one of the better ones of last year, but I would have been okay without seeing this.
Yeah, we saw this one together, as y'all know, and I don't know that I would have thought this would have made the cut, but here we are. What's next on the list?
Next on the list is F1. Now, this is Brad Pitt entering his, expensive dad movie era. I actually just watched this on the plane this past week. My first time watching it.
I heard that you missed this in theaters. This was actually like a really, I guess, big and bombastic movie that I think was worth the theatrical
I regret
treatment.
not seeing it in theaters. Like watching it on the plane, I was riveted. I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, Damson Idris, I see why the girls are going crazy. And I also see why you having this kind of, moment in your career in terms of acting. I see it. And Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt. He's playing an F1 driver, or they're both playing F1 drivers. It's a sports movie. It's ultimately what it is. And if you listen to our episode in which we talked about Marty Supreme, and we talked about what makes a good sports movie, F1 checks the box. Absolutely should have been nominated, particularly for the technical stuff going on.
Yeah. And I love Damson Idris being paired with Brad Pitt in this during what you called his dad movie era, because Damson's coming in basically being like a British YN, and he's essentially coming for his spot on the racetrack, which I think parallels the passing of the torch in real life of like the younger movie star from the older movie star, and hopefully we'll be able to see Damson take his proper seat, because he's been working and he's been doing some things, and I love seeing him on screen. So I hope he's able to, pull through and be that next generation and join, who is it? Zendaya, of course. We have homeboy Timmy Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan, and kind of like that class of actor. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah. Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro with Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi also nominated. I still have not seen this movie. Did you end up seeing it?
I haven't caught this one either. It was, I believe, is this Netflix?
This is Netflix, but it had a limited, theater release.
Yeah, and I missed that release. And, if you're not in the big market, you ain't going to find it in theater. So this is what I'm going to definitely catch on the Best Picture Showcase when it makes its round. So I'm excited to see it. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, like these people look good on screen. And Guillermo del Toro knows what he's doing when it comes to creature movies, I think. So we'll see.
Creature sex movies, to be specific. But moving on, Hamnet got nominated. This is Chloe Zhao's film. We talked about, 2 weeks ago? Maybe it was that last week?
It's our last episode, yeah.
It was just last week. Okay, so that's Chloe Zhao's story. We know you're familiar with it. Her kind of adaptation of the story of with William Shakespeare, what went into writing Hamlet and what inspired it. Jessie Buckley has been getting, all of the honors. Okay, she seems like she's the front runner for Best Actress, it seems. And so Hamnet, Chloe Zhao, exactly. We knew this one was gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when we did Superseded Awards, Jessie Buckley was my pick for most likely to succeed or something like that.
I think so.
I was like, yeah, she's coming for the award. It was apparent. I didn't love the movie, but I recognize great performances when I see it, and she did the damn thing. So yeah, we'll see what Hamnet does.
And that's Hamnet. Marty Supreme with Timothée Chalamet. A24, Tyler, the creators in this, directed by Josh Safdie. A sports movie, like I said. Successful or not successful, the jury is still out on that for me personally. But it's here. Yeah, Marty Supreme.
A movie about ping pong, and it's one of the Safdie brothers that got into the category. Sadly, the other one didn't, but we ain't talking about those who didn't make it.
Is it sadly?
We reviewed it. Y'all know what we think about it.
The
Go back
Smashing
and check
Machine.
that episode.
If you haven't listened to that episode, we talk about The Smashing Machine by Josh Safdie's brother. Okay, one battle after another, which we knew was going to be here. I hate that it's here, personally speaking. Yeah. But we knew it was going to be here. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's film starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, Chase Infinity. It's about a group of washed up revolutionaries and how life ensues, in pursuit of the revolution. Tiana Taylor, we just note, is nominated for supporting actress.
Indeed,
and congratulations.
Yeah, we know this one is the Film Bros' wet dream of 2025. So, we knew this would be here. It's very much so doing what is expected. Hopefully, with all that's happening in real life, they will also kick up the conversation about the themes touched on in this movie, and a revolution on screen is happening in real life. And hopefully these filmmakers will tap in if they do hit that stage.
And you got to do more than just wear a ice out button. I want it in your speech.
Search and find on the carpet.
Exactly. I want to hear it in your speech. Okay. So there's that one. So that was one battle after another. Now we're going to get into a couple of the international films that made it to the top 10. That is The Secret Agent, which I need to check out because Wagner Moura is in it.
Yep.
And I like him he was in Dope Thief, which is a Apple TV series with Brian Tyler Henry. That's not his name. What's his name? Brian Tyler Henry. Brian Tyree.
I love just letting you stumble through these because I'm like, how long is it going to take them to get there? And what are we going to get as a journey?
Well, y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so I definitely want to see The Secret Agent. It's set in Brazil during the dictatorship in the 70s. It's about this researcher who gets caught in the crosshairs of the regime. Super tense, super political from what we've heard. And I think Wagner Moura was one of the few people whose speeches at the Golden Globes when he won spoke to the moment and the subject of his film in particular, very, very obviously.
Directly, which I love.
Yeah. Sentimental Value is the other international picture. I think it's an international picture.
It is. I want to say it's Norwegian. It was filmed in Norway. The filmmaker's Norwegian, and it's spoken in Norwegian. I saw this one with caption. So yeah.
Okay, so this stars Stellan Skarsgård, who's playing a director trying to, fix his relationship with his kids. You've written here in our script that it is basically 2 hours of unpacking why quote unquote genius men usually make terrible fathers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, once you see it, you will absolutely understand why.
Fair. I need to watch that. I need to check that out. And then obviously the record breaker. Okay, Sinners. Okay, Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, Wound Me, Delroy Lindo. Baby, when I tell you, listen.
Yeah.
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with them people. Just stop playing with them people.
This was the team up that I was here for. Like, I know people love Homegirl we talked about earlier with Homeboy. Lord, I can't even remember the damn name. We just Yorgos Lanthimos. Yes. Mm-hmm. But the one I was here for was Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. We got Michael B. Jordan ×2 in this movie, which is what really helped me, respect him even more as an actor because he's playing two different characters that felt like different characters.
And he also got the Best Actor nomination. He sure did. Which there were conversations about whether or not it would happen. I mean, let's be real. No one expected Sinners to do, as well as it did. Nope. No one did. And so hopefully that bodes better for them. And then the last film is Train Dreams. Have you seen Train Dreams?
I have not. This was a Sundance film, though. I was trying to hold out to see it on the big screen once it was released wide, and of course, I missed it.
Yeah,
but I wonder, this is another one I'm going to catch on the Best Picture show.
We are in that moment where, a lot of the stuff that has been Oscar nominated probably will be put back in theaters. Mm-hmm. I know I saw that they're putting Sinners back in theaters already. And so Train Dreams, it's in the name, but it's about a logger who is working on a railroad at the turn of the century. It's a very quiet movie. It's a very, I would call it slow movie, and it definitely doesn't have the energy of a Sinners, but folks have really been took with, the performances in the overall film. That's why it made it into the top 10. And so those are the top movies that will be battling it out for Best Picture at the Oscars this year.
Yeah, it's not, I can't say that it's exactly an exciting race because honestly, this past year in films, it was pretty predictable for the most part of what films were going to make the nomination list. So I wasn't surprised by many of these. I didn't expect Begonia to be in there, but I'm also not like, oh, Begonia's in this, but also, it is what it is. And you mentioned these movies coming out again close to the actual award show itself. So AMC is what I'm most familiar with. They're doing their Best Picture show in the weekends leading up to the show. So day 1 is going to be March 7th, and day 2 is going to be March 14th. And essentially what they do is they split up screenings of 5 of these films each day, and you can buy a ticket to see all 5 in one day, and then the next 5 in the next day. Ooh. And that's my type of carrying on.
I know. What's that girl? What's that girl on TikTok you introduced me to?
Chris Cinema. Shout out to Chris Cinema. Yeah, she does her all-day movie stay.
On today's episode of my all-day movie stay, I'll be at the theaters for 11 hours watching 5 of the latest releases. If you're new here, my name is Chris Cinema, and I'm just a girl making movie watching her job at both AMC Stubbs and Regal Unlimited. And every week, I like to spend a day catching everything on the big screen, so stay tuned.
Okay, yes. So I know she's going to eat that. Well, she's probably already seen all of the movies, but that's something that I know she would eat up, honey.
Yeah. So I'll be checking that out. But I will say, I think all of the chains have their version of this. So I'm sure Regal has one, Cinemark also has one. But, I'm an A-lister, so I'm over with AMC girlies.
How you doing? Okay.
Yes.
Now, we will continue having Oscars-oriented conversations up until and after the show. I am certain. I will just slide in here that y'all played. Them people played in Wicked for Good's face. Ooh, they played in the. I know
Tre'vell.
you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree, beloved. It's okay. I know you don't agree, and we don't even have to talk about it. Okay, we don't have to talk about it. We don't because I know.
I kind of felt it in the atmosphere. I was
You're not wrong. You are
Wicked
correct.
for Good, it does not track in the way it did
You
the
are
previous
correct.
year. I felt like people were over it. I saw, so you know that, is it the LA Times? I forget what publication does it, where they do like these anonymous interviews of voters.
Where they interview racist Academy members and they allow the racists to show their racism in print and online. You talking about those? Yes,
Yeah,
I'm familiar.
essentially.
I'm familiar.
So over the weekend, I believe it came out from one of those interviews. Someone was like, they were turned off from the performative nature of Cynthia and Ariana's press run tour, trying to sell the friendship thing again so heavily and hearty. So, you know,
They just be lying. I hate those interviews. I hate them because people just be lying. You think that the anonymity would give them greater freedom, and that's what we're supposed to think. But these people be lying because ain't no way you still worried about the last go around. Because them people ain't did no press for this go around. What you talking about?
But Tre'vell, would I be wrong for also kind of agreeing with that?
Yeah,
because
you're hateful too. You're hateful.
I'm not hateful. I
just
just
kidding.
felt like it was a lot. Like I was so over.
Well, yes,
it.
but that
I'm
has
somebody-
nothing to do. That has nothing
with
to
the
do
cat.
with
You're
the
right.
movie.
You're
That has
right.
nothing to do with what we are here for.
But we also talked about the movie, and so if y'all want our thoughts on that,
Well, there's that. There is that.
go watch that episode.
You did eat me up with that one. You did eat because you know.
Something else, you kind of brushed over this a little bit when we were talking about Sinners, but Sinners made history, setting a new record with a total of 16 nominations, surpassing the previous record of 14 films held by, I believe, All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land was most recent. So I can run through what they were nominated for because I think is worth noting. Of course, Best Picture we mentioned, director Ryan Coogler, actor in a leading role Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Stack, which is he the only one nominated for 2 roles? Go with that. Actress in a supporting role, Wumi Musaku. Actor in a supporting role, Delroy Lindo, which I had to pull the call over here for a second because was it not here on this show that I said Delroy Lindo deserves in our Superseded Awards? Was it not here?
It was here, beloved.
And he has been recognized. And we also got our girl Wumi in this batch.
Amen.
Moving right along. Original screenplay, cinematography for Autumn Doral Archipel, film editing, costume design for our girl Ruth E. Carter, the Academy Award-winning Ruth E. Carter, production design,
now
makeup and hairstyling.
the most nominated Black woman ever.
Ever.
Yes.
For anything.
For anything, yes.
Yes. But production design, makeup and hairstyling, sound, visual effects, original score by Ludwig Göransson, an original song, I Lied to You, which was written by Raphael Sadiq and composed by Ludwig, and of course performed by Miles Caton in the film. So,
And casting.
And casting, right. Francine Meisler, I believe is how you pronounce that. So yeah, I love these nominations. Original song, I Lied to You. Expected that to be because it was like the surreal scene that Ryan Coogler calls it. But my personal favorite song was Pale Pale Moon, which was written by Brittany Howard. It was the moment when I believe they recreate like that. What's that iconic painting that we see like in the opening of Good Times? That Jamie Lawson
The juke joint. Was that that juke joint painting? Yeah.
That was my favorite song. One, because the performance itself really pushed the narrative and the tone forward and really ushered us into the space that set the tone for the performance of I Lied to You. And then, of course, I also love, that's my second favorite song, Last Time I Seen the Sun, which...
So you like all the music in Sinners.
Well, those are the 2 other ones that I really love. So, yeah. But Sinners is really here. And, you know, while excited about all of these nominations, I don't know why, but I immediately called back to when Dreamgirls got nominated for all those awards in 2007. I think they had like 8 nominations, and they only won 2 awards that year. I think it was Best Sound Mixing, like a technical category, and then of course Jennifer Hudson took home Best Supporting Actress, which was her like big moment as Effie White. And I'm just like, the way Sinners is tracking, I'm like, I hope these people don't play the same way and only give us 2, but it's really feeling like it's going to be light, to say the least.
Well, you said you don't know what it is. I'm gonna tell you, it's called trauma. That is what it is.
Trauma.
It's trauma. Because you brought up Dream Girls. I would bring up the original Color Purple.
Yes, they got shut out completely, I believe.
After 12 nominations, if I'm not mistaken. That's just a stat off the top of my head. I could be wrong. But it was a double-digit nominations, and they got nothing. I do think Sinners is going to do well. We should do a separate teaser for the Patreon people, specifically making our predictions for the categories.
That could be our first Patreon exclusive. I think that's a good idea.
Yes. Okay. So if you all want to hear that, go ahead and start signing up over on seatedshow.com/join. And in a couple weeks, we're going to drop our Oscar predictions.
And before we wrap up on our Sinners conversation, I think I want to mention that Kev on stage, he summed up my thoughts pretty neatly when he said Sinners got 16 Oscar nominations, and I just hope that ain't the award. Don't play with us. Do not play with us. We will pull up to the Academy and
Y'all ain't gonna do that. Y'all ain't gonna do that. Y'all don't. But I mean, let's be real. Looking at the competition, Sinners is gonna get stuff. It won't get all of them, right? But it definitely is going to get some stuff. So we'll see. We'll see where they slide that through. Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into The Testament of Anne Lee.
In The Testament of Anne Lee, we get to see Amanda Seyfried playing an 18th century mystic running a celibate commune where catching the Holy Ghost means literally shaking the demons off.
Having been I and ear witnesses. For those new here, who are unaccustomed to a woman preacher. To all that our mother has done. Come nearer to me.
Let's keep it a buck. This was one of the last heavy hitter releases that could have cracked the Oscar race wide open this season, but the Academy paid it dust. Now, to be clear, this ain't a black movie. I think we spotted exactly one black woman in the ensemble, and she was basically background. But the way this film handles the quote-unquote saint figure has us interested. We're used to seeing black religion on screen being loud or trauma-filled, looking at you, Tyler Perry, never getting this level of quiet, high art reverence. So that's today on Seated. When we look at a depiction of holiness this specific and this white, we have to ask, what would it actually look like to give a black woman this kind of cinematic grace? Tre'vell, let me hear your top line thoughts on The Testament of Anne Lee.
Yeah, Testament of Anne Lee, I thought was fine. I saw the movie twice. Once late last year on a screener link. And then I went this past weekend, yesterday, when we're recording this, to see it in a movie theater. And I did that because the film is not a musical. But it has a lot of musical elements. I think there's that distinction in theater between like a play and a musical, where like the music, if the music is part of pushing the narrative forward, it's a musical. Rather, if the music is just like scenes with music, it's a play with music. I think this is one of those. This is a drama with music, is how I would describe it, and a biopic. And yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I thought it was. It was fine.
Well, we got to the point about the music in this movie much quicker than I expected, because I came here armed to argue you down about this being a musical, because when we first mentioned it, what episode was that? I think it was like our Dumpuary conversation. You initially referenced it as a musical, and so I came here today ready to battle you down about this being a musical over Sinners, but you have already heard that argument.
Not you said I'm sorry, I cut you off at your knees. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
To be honest, that was like the bulk of my conversation on this movie today. So this is going to be interesting chat to say the least.
Okay, so what were your top line thoughts then?
This was one I put on the list, just out of curiosity. One, because I do enjoy Amanda Seyfried as an actor. I had just seen her in what was it, The Housemaid, and I'm used to her playing like that type of role that has like a bit of winking to it. So with her playing this, I was like, there's not going to be much room for her to really dance around. No, not literally. She does dance in this movie, but like dance around tonally. She played this entire film straight in this role. So that's what really had me curious. And I knew nothing about the figurehead at the center of this film, Ann Lee herself. So this was all discovery to me, was learning about a new religion that I wasn't familiar with. So it kept me interested in that regard. But yeah, it was a movie. Like, it was a movie that didn't make me feel excited or disappointed. I was really just like there for the vibes and left cool, you know?
Right. Which I think is a fair. That's like a fair criticism to me. You know, like every movie's not gonna, knock your socks off one way or the other. Sometimes it's just gonna be good. Who would you say Testament of Ann Lee is for, if we had to identify some folks? It's obviously a biopic, like we mentioned, so there's that element.
Yeah, I think it's for people who are maybe history buffs, like interested in learning about American history specifically, with a slant towards religion, because we learn literally about how a religion came from across the seas to America with the founding of this country. And so, like, there are some very slight historical touches that they use as just like time markers of culture in that era. So if you're into those types of things, I would say that this movie is for you. Who would you say it's for?
I was gonna say white people.
Ain't they all?
Well, I mean, you
even
saw
the black
movie.
movies these days.
You saw the movie. Yeah, I think. It is a biopic. I do think because of the musical element, it is something different than like, you're not gonna see anything else in a theater like this, for the next few weeks, right? Yeah. Like, it is, a unique experience in that way. If you're looking for something different, as compared to, the bigger, more blockbustery things that are coming out. And then, as a biopic, as a religious exploration, I guess. I think what I was I just never heard of the Shakers. You've heard of the Quakers, but not the Shakers. And we will get into how black churchy it felt at times, but we like to also talk a little bit about the director and their past work that we're familiar with. And so this is directed by Mona Fastvold. Not a name I'm familiar with. What about you? Not as a director. Yeah. I remember her name as a writer.
I'm the same. I'm with you. I actually didn't even know her name as a writer. It wasn't until like I pulled up her IMDb that I was like, oh, you were a part of this. And also, I did not know she was romantically attached to another really recognized director, Brady Corbet, who did The Brutalist, that just won, like, swept award season last year. So, I mean, didn't know much about her. Her known for on her IMDb page is as producer for The Brutalist. She was the director for a 2020 film titled The World to Come. Of course, The Testament of Ann Lee is her third. And then coming in at her fourth is The Sleepwalker, which she directed in 2014. Those two other films I'm not at all familiar with, but I will say I'm curious to see how, like what her thing is as a director, because this was a very, I would call this a pretty epic film. So, yeah.
I would too. Too.
There's literally an epic journey.
I think for me, the main highlight of this film, as we get a little deeper, would be the way that I think the music and the sound and the rhythm, the way it's used narratively. You know, I think with a movie like this, it can be, if it's too quiet, you know, if the shots are too much focused on the landscape, for me,
it's dull as rocks.
It's very no shade. Oh, and I hate no shade. But sometimes when I watch Madame Chloe Zhao's work, sometimes that's the feeling that, because it's very picturesque and very beautiful, but I'd be like, wow, we've been looking at this scene for 28 seconds.
Not Chloe Zhao catching strays.
I don't even mean like that. But I think what Chloe Zhao does well about setting a space, right? This film also does well. And I think that might bloat the time on it just a little bit, is all I'm saying. But the music and the rhythm and the way, like the sound editing, I think was great. And I almost was like, where is this version of, for the first black folks who started speaking in tongues, for the first black folks who
the
started,
Holiness Church.
Like, oh, you know what I mean? Yes. They're over there doing, all of this stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I that is something that I would have loved to see, but it was interesting to see it, here, and in terms of this very small religion. If I'm not mistaken, in the end credits, they provide some information about the sect. I don't know if we would call it a sect or whatnot. In terms of, and so one of the things is, the group at its peak was 6,000 members. That's a lot of people, but that's a little bit of people
compared to our population, correct. But before we jump off the deep end, I want to try something with you, Tre'vell.
Uh-oh.
I didn't prepare you for this, so roll with me. Let's pretend your good Judy just gave you a call. So I'm going to call you. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Hey, girl, what's up?
Hey, girl. So I saw this trailer for a movie called The Testament of Ann Lee. Can you describe this movie to me? I know you saw it spoiler-free. How would you describe that in like 2 or 3 sentences?
Oh, it's about this white lady who started a section of a religion that very much gives holiness, and they just be yelling and screaming. And she ended up leaving wherever she was in Europe and venturing across the water to start her community in the United States.
That's it.
That's that. I mean, that's the core of it. There's more, right? There's the situation with her husband, and how she said that the Lord came. I don't want to spoil it for the people. You know what I mean? But there's more. But that's ultimately what it's about. It's about this how this community, how this woman, right, came to lead a religious community at a time when women did not lead.
Yeah. And I think that was what I was most curious about, seeing how things played out in that time specifically, because there was so much focus on her internal personal relationships that I was most curious about how like society was receiving this. And we eventually got there, but it got really quickly violent.
It did. And this movie has been out for a few weeks now, right? Okay, so... But
I think it just had a wide release this past week, which is why we're talking about it now.
Okay, so then I won't go into spoiler-specific conversation in that case, because there are two elements of the story that I found interesting. And that is around well, in your introduction, you mentioned how race shows up in doesn't in the film. Shout out to Sister Mary Clarence. And that's an inside joke. Once you see it, you'll know what I mean. Yes. I do want to highlight one specific thing. There is a moment of transphobia in this film.
Damn, did I miss it?
It's quick.
I know exactly.
You know exactly. It's quick. And I just want to say out loud and highlighted it because I don't want to spoil it. But I do want to note that as I am looking at what we are navigating as a country today in 2026 and the ways transness is often the scapegoat, it stuck out to me how that same concept is present in this film that is set years before America becomes America.
And to your point, another thing that stood out to me as the resident homo, I was like, oh, so gay pastors also came over on the ship too.
Well,
not to give anything away,
yes.
But like when y'all see this movie, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
We have always been here is the point that I wanted to reiterate, and that was a pleasant element in this film and narrative that I did not expect. Both of those, you know.
And it was also smartly done because it was present, but it was not it did not veer away from the central plot.
It doesn't take you away from anything, but you know the reality of the lived experiences of a host of people, right? Based on this is when we talk about now I'm making it seem like I really like this movie.
I mean, but we talked about like how there are things that like held our curiosity. It's not that it was
very much.
It's not that we didn't like it. It's not that we loved it. But like, I mean, we liked the movie. I mean, I liked the movie enough to like want to talk about it. So
yes, and it's and those elements in particular, I just say I appreciated them from a story standpoint. Mostly, no, there was a couple situations where I was like, y'all, that's it. But we were there. And so often in these narratives from this time period, you don't even see the slave block. You know what I mean? It's like we weren't there. And so I just appreciated them showing that we were there.
And also it gave us a very quick but specific and pointed idea of who Ann Lee was in respects to her thoughts on that. Because there's that moment where she specifically looks at the thing, notices the thing, speaks to the things, and shames the thing.
Absolutely.
And like while it was a quick moment, it was also to me very intentional to show us if we had questions about where this mother figure, this saint figure stood on that topic and that subject, there was no question about it from the filmmaker's point of view. So
speaking of Amanda Seyfried, how did you feel about her performance? Did she hold your attention?
Yes, I was really impressed by her. It's not that I was surprised by her performance. I was just pleasantly held by like her commitment to the role. Like there was no point where it felt insincere. Like I felt like she was really kind of stepping into that role and going with what it called for, because there were some, I mean, from the outside looking in, like imagine you walking onto that set and seeing what's going on. You mean like, this is some weird shit. Like,
this is some weird white people shit.
Right. But she was committed to the bit where it never felt like this was acting. Like I hate when I'm watching something like, oh, you're acting. Because that's a tale that like maybe you aren't believable. But she was believable in this role as Ann Lee to me. What about you?
I believed it until I didn't. I believed it until I didn't. She locked me in very early on. As the character ages, something is no longer present for me in the performance. And maybe that's intentional. Obviously, maybe it's just, a sign of the character aging or something. But there was an energy when the character is younger and going through all of these issues and spreading the good news, that as she gets older and she, the character dies before turning 50. So not very old, but had a number of like bodily things that she ended up having to navigate as she got older, and something just shifted for me in the latter part of the movie that pulled me a little out of it.
There was a point in the third act where something really consequential happens to her and her followers. That was the one thing where I was like, I actually wanted to know more about like how this thing impacted them and their mission and their work. But as you mentioned, like she died before 50, so they did not really get into that as much. Like after that moment happens, it's kind of like the next scene is just like her basically on death's bed or like nearing death. And so I was really curious more about like how that experience that they all had together like really impacted like their drive for the faith, and also just like if their spirit was ever broken by it in any way. We never really got that internal thought after that. But yeah, I can see where your criticism on like her aging, because I think that was something, because it wasn't as drastic of an aging time frame. We didn't really see her old per se, because she never really aged up. Because why? Why
go ahead and say
faster than us?
Say it. And we didn't. I hate to say this. I actually don't hate to say this. We didn't see it took a lot for me to see the aging on her. Yeah. And so I don't know if that was a choice. Maybe she was just, young presenting in person, in real life. I don't know. But that is something that I was like, maybe it's just the hair and costuming or the hair and makeup.
There weren't a lot of wrinkles added. It wasn't a lot done to make her look old. But I guess because you're 48 and not 78, it's
So
how much do you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really all of my thoughts on Testament of Anne Lee. Not something that makes me want to write a dissertation. But I was pleasantly okay with it. Did you have any additional thoughts before we get into our ratings?
Usually I've shared with you and the people at home that like I often leave films with a lot of questions. And with this movie, I didn't really have that many questions. And I say that to say, like, I think we've talked about everything that I had to talk about. I mean, there was the one black girl that we mentioned in the movie.
Yeah.
That was the question that I would have had. But, like, I mean, they gave her so much more screen time. I don't know if it was just that because she was black, she stood out more to me. But I was like, okay, now they've introduced this person on screen, I keep seeing her.
Yeah.
And she was often seen doing domestic roles, which I'm like, everybody doing domestic roles.
Everybody, okay. It is the way of life.
It showed up, yeah. And I want to shout her out. Her name is Lark White, and her character name, although we never heard it on screen, is apparently Patsy, which...
Patsy?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, but that is those be the names that they gave to girls back in the day.
But I think that's also an interesting choice, literature-wise, because we know what Patsy can also mean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, so let's get to our episode ratings. Seated, skip it, or stream it. Ray, where do you come down on the Testament of Anne Lee?
Oh, man. I'm going to say this is seated. And that's because I think that, like, if you're into movies that have an epic journey, which this one very much so has, it's satisfying. And it's dumpuary. It really, the pickings are slim. So if you're going to see a movie, this ain't going to hurt you. Like, check this one out. It's not a horror. It's not the thrillers that are typical for dumpuary season. It's a drama that has music, but, like, not music in the way of characters singing dialogue to each other. Like it's
Right.
music that I believe is diegetic in the film. These are moments happening with the characters. So yeah, I say seated. What about you?
I am right there with you. I also say seated because I think the movie hits differently in a theater than it does streaming. And part of that is because of, at least for me, the sound design. There are elements where they so wonderfully like turn up the hitting on the desks. Right, and then they weave that into the body sound. You know, the people be hit. It's just so. I was like, oh, y'all think y'all doing the boot dance? Y'all think y'all over here step? You know, it's like it's very close to that in a lot of ways. And so I think the big screen experience with the nice sound system, and maybe you have a nice sound system at home. Okay, I don't know what you got going on over there. Okay, but it really hit me differently hearing it and seeing it in a theater than I did watching it on my computer. Okay.
Yes, immerse yourself. Take yourself. Go treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Okay.
One thing I did want to bring up that we didn't touch on, that I was like, oh, this is the point of this religion. The point of God being both male and female.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I was like, hallelujah, amen, I'm with you.
Yeah, and how that was like real progressive for the time.
Yeah. I mean, 1774, right up with the country's founding.
Hell, I guess it could still be progressive for this time as well. Sure. Go ahead, sip your water. Go on, sip your water. Go on, clear your throat. Okay.
But I really want to hear about the Rotten Tomatoes, so take us on over there.
Let's get to the Rotten Tomatoes. According to the Tomato Meter, it is at 87%. That's from 134 fresh ratings from critics and 30 rotten ratings from critics. 87%, not that bad.
It's not bad. Yeah.
It's not that bad. And the popcorn meter though was slightly less at 83%.
Oh, yeah, that tracks. That's exactly that's where I land on it. Like I was at like a 3.5 out of 5 stars on my scale. So like that makes sense. Cool.
That makes sense. And then we have our Black Critic Spotlight. This week we are highlighting Sarah Vincent of Sarah G. Vincent Views. It's her own site. I was poking around earlier. And Sarah said, this film's commitment to immersing moviegoers into the lived experience of the early Shakers will not appeal to most, but is nonetheless powerful and impressive. Seyfried did her thing.
Yeah, she ain't lied. I'm with you, girl.
Okay, and I absolutely agree. Everybody won't like it, but I was taken with it, and I was like, okay, this is cute.
Same.
This is cute.
I'm with it. Cool. All right. Well, that'll do it for our thoughts on The Testament of Ann Lee. Let us know if you saw this movie at home and share your thoughts with us in the comments. Watching the video on YouTube, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening, get into that review app and give us 5 stars and tell us what you think about the show and the movie. And we are going to come right back with the Black Cinema Games.
Stay tuned.
Back again, and now it's time for my favorite segment this week and every week, Black Cinema Games.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, Tre'vell, we're returning to a tried and true, one of my favorites, but I don't think you are so loving on this one because I'm putting that timer on that ass again.
Here you go.
We are playing 5 on it, where I'm giving you 5 rounds of trivia questions related to the themes present in The Testament of Ann Lee, and you've got 10 seconds to answer. So are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
I will say I'm taking it real easy on you this week, just as I think,
You don't have to give the disclaimer. You don't have to tell the people you're being easy on me.
This is going to be fun.
Okay.
So if you're playing along at home, drop your score in the comments below, and we will join you all in celebration, hopefully. So round 1 is titled The Generational Curse.
What does that even mean?
I'll explain it. I have some setups for you.
Okay.
All right. So, in Ann Lee, the main character has to defy her family to join the movement. In Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, which I know you love, Rita, played by our girl Lauryn Hill, wants to sing, but her mother forbids it because she says singing doesn't put food on the table. The question: which legendary dream girl played Rita's strict mother who told her she better get those grades up? 10 seconds on the clock.
Cheryl Lee Ralph. Dude.
Yeah.
Singing does not put food on the table. Singing does not pay the bills.
Okay.
Shout out to the Walk Good, okay? Shout out to the home team, okay?
I told you we keeping it easy. You
Okay,
know.
I love that for
Our
me.
sis has the range, to say the least. So.
Okay.
All right, so you got 1 point on the board already.
I
Question
see
number
what you
2.
did there.
Second round is going to be called the First Lady Flex. So we're playing 5 on it, and you have 10 seconds to guess based on the clue I give you. Are you ready for the First Lady Flex?
First Lady Flex, okay.
All right. Ann Lee is the ultimate mother of her congregation. But in 2022's Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, Regina Hall played the ultimate First Lady, Trinity Childs. To help her husband rebuild their scandal-plagued church, Trinity is forced to do a very specific and very embarrassing type of performance art on the side of the road to attract new members. What is the dance she was doing called? You have 10 seconds.
It's miming. Is that not what we call it, miming?
Come on, praise mime dance.
Right, pantomime it, praise mime it, whatever they do.
Yes.
Let me just tell you a little something about praise mime. When it comes down to it, they are entertainers. You know, a sideshow. And, you know, Lee Curtis is a talent, a star, but he's so raw. He's raw. He needs someone to harness it all. And I did that.
Yes.
You know, them people in Ann Lee was dancing their little butts off, but
With
you
the
know,
white face.
we mime in our church.
Yes.
And
with the
liturgical
white
dance
face.
too.
Liturgical. Yeah, I love me a liturgical dance. I didn't even
With the
lie
flags.
to you.
My church had the silk gold and purple flags with the big dresses. Yes.
Come on, royalty.
Yes. All right. Are you ready for round 3?
Yes. 3 out of 5, right?
3 out of 5.
Okay,
Round
good.
3 is titled The Performance. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So Ann Lee's followers were known for their ecstatic dancing. But in 1991, one R&B group used a church performance to try and win a choir competition and pay for their new outfits. Sound familiar?
No.
Dang. Okay. Here's the question. In the 5 Heartbeats, which member of the group started singing I Feel Like Going On first, causing the church mothers to faint in the aisle? We need the character name.
You know I don't know Eddie. I don't know them characters.
It's Eddie.
I feel like going on.
Eddie, played by Michael Wright. See, I thought you was gonna mess around and say Duck, but it was Eddie who did it first. All right.
Is Duck Robert Townsend's character? Okay. Okay. Now that is a black classic.
It is a black classic indeed.
I don't know where I got Eddie from, but shout out to me.
I mean, but you was right.
That's
so,
crazy.
You have 3 points on the board, so you're doing
Listen,
damn good.
I'm
Come
ready,
on.
okay?
We need to dial this up a little bit. All right, round 4
not too
is
much.
titled The Procession.
Come on, procession. I see what you're doing here. Uh-huh.
In the Testament of Ann Lee, the Shakers used singing to bring people into the fold, but nobody did it better than Suge Avery. Question.
Ooh.
In the original 1985, The Color Purple, Suge Avery busts out the juke joint and leads a crowd down the dirt road to the church to confront her father. What is the name of the gospel song she sings that finally gets to pass the open doors? 10 seconds on the clock. Bonus if you can sing along.
God is trying to tell you something. Tell me something.
Yes, hallelujah.
Yes.
God is trying to tell you something.
Oh my God. Can I say that I hate that the first thing that came to mind was not that.
Now I need to know what was the first thing that came to mind.
It's not even.
Please share with the class.
It is not even from The Color Purple. You know, I be. Okay, this scene that you just highlighted in The Color Purple has been the inspiration for so many other scenes that we've seen.
I know you ain't gonna reference Tyler Perry.
I sure was. And
I knew that's where you were going.
I'm sorry, friend, but I am who I am.
Tell them the scene you're talking about.
Well, funny part, I had two of them before I got to the correct one. One was Taraji P. Henson and I Can Do All Bad by Myself. She has this beautiful moment where she like sings, you know, because she lives down the street from the church house. But then the other one was that Diary of a Mad Black Woman? Mm-hmm. With Kimberly Elise and with that little girl Promise Wing.
Tiffany Evans.
Tiffany, a legend and an icon. She will always be famous in my household. Okay?
Yes.
And in the church house. Anyway, shout out to Tyler Perry, I guess.
What was the man's name? Her dad in that movie? Oh my God. Because she sings like Father Can You Hear Me or something. Charles, yeah, he's Community
Charles?
now.
He's Community now.
Is that who am I thinking about the right person?
Girl, I don't think so, beloved. I don't. From which movie?
Terrell.
Oh, no, not Terrell Owens. He is Community though. Well, but that's public information.
It is. I mean, he performs at Pride, as far as I know.
Yes, he does. But that don't make him Community. That
Well,
just
I mean,
make him
he had a big
book.
moment where he like came out and started
Yes.
booking prize. Terrell Carter, I believe is his
Terrell
name.
Carter. What did I say?
Yes.
Terrell Owens. My God, Jesus. I'm sorry. Ooh.
All right, so you have 4 points on the board.
Yes.
You are sweeping this here round. So we have one last question to round out 5 on it, and it's titled "The Final Read."
Okay.
All right. So we know funerals are just services with higher stakes. And we also got to see how the folks over in the Testament of Ann Lee and the Shakers bury their loved ones. Mm-hmm. So in 2001's Kingdom Come, the Slocum family gathers to bury their father, who wasn't exactly a saint like Ann Lee. Question: Whoopi Goldberg's character Raynell is asked what she wants written on her husband's tombstone. She refuses rest in peace and chooses a 3-word phrase that sums up his personality perfect. What was it?
Another black classic. I love this for me. Mean and surly.
No!
Baby. Mean and surly.
That wasn't what she wrote.
Yes, it was.
I thought it was Mean as Hell.
It was Mean and surly. It was
Did I make
mean.
it
I
Mean as
promise
Hell?
you, it's mean and surly.
Oh, well,
I
either way
promise
you.
you.
You got
I promise you.
All right.
But basically, that's basically Mean as Hell. But
we're going to
it's
consider this a sweep. You got it, Tre'vell. We ain't got to argue the points. You got
okay,
you get
where
the picture.
Alphabet at, girl? Bring my broom, girl. Bring my broom.
Oh, she ain't at the Academy Awards, but
and you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
That's going to do it for this week's Black Cinema Games. Let us know how you did in the comments below. Tre'vell has a complete sweep with 5 points on the boards this week. Shout out to you.
I love
All
that
right,
for me.
Tre'vell, we're going to wrap up the show and give our good vibes only, where we give our bite-sized recommendations on things that are giving us good vibes each week. And what is giving you good vibes, Tre'vell? Give it to us.
Yes. So my movie recommendation, I like to do movie recommendations, based on what we watched. And so I'm going to go with another drama with music. Okay.
Drama.
This is actually a 2006 Lifetime original movie based on the biography of a one Fantasia Barrino.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I am recommending the Fantasia Barrino story, also known as Life is Not a Fairy Tale. It's available to watch on the Tubi if you are interested. And the reason why I selected this is because in Testament of Ann Lee, there are a number of instances where they go down to pray, and they start, vocalizing, their praise. And there is at least 2 scenes in the Fantasia Barrino story, particularly one which also replicates the Suge Avery one that you mentioned from The Color Purple and Black Cinema Games, where Fantasia Barrino comes into the church house just a pregnant, and her and Viola Davis and the legend herself, Loretta Devine, who plays her grandmother. Stop playing with me. Y'all need to check out this movie, The Fantasia Barrino Story. It's so good.
Lifetime ain't never had a cast this sick. Child, they also had Kadeem Hardison in there.
Kadeem, Dwayne Wine?
Yes.
Wine.
And wasn't this also directed by Debbie Allen, if I'm not mistaken?
I actually do think it was directed by you. Just scratched that fun fact out of my head. I do believe it was directed by that lady.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, this for us.
That's a good black TV classic for sure.
Okay.
Y'all put that on your list.
Not enough of y'all have seen it, though, so go on, do yourself a favor. What about you, Ray? What is your recommendation this week for the people?
So, I like to not give people as much homework as in like a whole other movie, so I'm keeping it a little tighter. And since the movie we dug into this week was musically inclined, I figured I'd follow that thread for my recommendation. Mm-hmm. And so my recommendation is going to be the British show band that I keep seeing up and down my timeline called Soul and the Gang. Are you familiar?
I am not familiar. I'm a Google though.
Good. So when we get off, I'm gonna send you this link because I think you are gonna enjoy them. Essentially, it's like cover band led by this brother named J Soul, who sings with that like specific type of like 90s R&B desperation flourish that we all love. And like they pull up to, they're really like kind of like I don't want to call them a wedding band. They're a cover band, but they do a lot of like weddings. And when I say weddings, I mean bougie weddings. And I think that was the initial thing that caught my eye on the timeline is the places they're singing at are like, what's homegirl? Jennifer Lewis's character in I Can Do Better By Myself. What was it? Was it the one with the wedding? When she comes in and she's like...
Paris in springtime.
Yes. It is her wet dream. All of these weddings they do, like they're usually in like Lake Como.
Yeah.
And they have like expensive fabrics and their vocals are absolutely incredible. Like, they really do sound like a lot of the tracks that they're singing. They do jazz, and they're not scared of like singing ass songs. They do Jasmine Sullivan. They go for Beyonce and like they nail it. And they also do some choreography. So I think that's gonna be like a fun dive for y'all when y'all get into it. But it's Soul and the Gang, spelled SOL and the Gang, on TikTok, Instagram. I think they also are like doing a tour or something soon. So if you can find them, check them out. It's a fun like all black British troupe. So yeah.
I actually have seen some of their videos on one of them apps. I just Googled them. I have absolutely, and you're right. They shut down a reception.
They be getting into it, like
okay. They shut down a reception, and the video that I remember seeing of theirs was it was for an Indian wedding, and they incorporated some traditional Indian sounds and music into whatever top 40 song that they were performing. And baby, when I tell you them people went up, so did I.
Ooh, yeah. All right, so that's our recommendations this week. For me, it's Soul and the Gang, and for Tre'vell, it was a 2006 Lifetime movie. What's the official title?
Life is Not a Fairy Tale, The Fantasia Barrino story.
Yes. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Seated. We hope you all have enjoyed what you've seen, heard, or interacted with. And Tre'vell, send us home.
Yes. Y'all know how we end the show every single week. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your uncle, and your auntie about the conversations we're having over here on the Seated Show podcast. And as always, you can reach out to us with your direct comments at holla@seatedshow.com. Thanks for joining us. We will see y'all next week.
Holla! If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll bring you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckroll and animation by Ajong Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Arrows. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slay Jean and 5011 Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. Shout out to our location partner, The Walkwood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla!
Ma.
I also wore my cross today in solidarity with the
Not
law.
in solidarity. Okay, I'll do.
With the shaker.
Okay.
Shake it fast.
It was crazy
really
though. They all was just throwing their bodies all crazy like, and I was like, "Your elbows don't hurt. My elbow hurt just doing that, girl."
Exactly, child.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Girl, put your record on. Play me your favorite song. Gray, yep. Just go ahead, let your head down.
Come on, Corinne.
I think she has a book coming out. I think it's her. Yeah.
Is it called? Is it like a kid's book called "Put Your Records On"?
Something to that effect. I think this is who I'm thinking of. But yeah, we can do a clap sync. 3, 2, 1. Cool.
Do.
Pull up my script.
Do.
Ozzy, go lay down. Don't come over here right now. Good boy. Oh yeah, the book is called "Put Your Records On" by Corinne Bailey Ray. It's a kid's book. I don't know what it's about, but I saw her promoting it over the weekend.
Music education.
Music make you lose control. Sorry. Okay. All right, I'm ready. We can put this.
Okay.
Oh, I put phonetic spelling of her name too, since you're saying her name in the opening.
And you know I was gonna say it my way and not her way. I appreciate you.
Your way is the right way. I was saying it the wrong way, so it was more so like a note for me.
Oh, Seyfried. Oh, as opposed to Seyfried.
I said Seyfried.
Seyfried. I've heard that one too, though.
And you was like, is it Seyfried or Seyfried? And you actually had it right. Seyfried.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to me.
Yes. You and your, usually we on the Shabutakwe side of things that you win names, but
which I don't mind. Shout out to Shabutakwe. Shout out to all the Shabutakways out there.